We will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So today we have to start with the Indriya, the faculties. So as we have already learned many different types of ultimate realities, we may have Namarupa's methods. It's formal for every listeners. But we also have 5 aggregate methods, 12 base, 80 elements. But today we have to start 22 Indriya, 22 controlling faculties, 22 faculties. So when we talk about faculties, then we also have to understand what's the really meaning of Indriya in Pali. Indriya means rulerships. We can also understand like a lordship. So it will rule over something. This is called, we call Indriya. Okay, now we have to start with the first 5. It's very common, right? Chakondriya, iron faculty, Sodindriya, ear faculty, Karnindriya, nose faculty, Chivindriya, tongue faculty, and Kayindriya, the body faculty. So these are very common in Buddha's teaching. As we have explained before, iron translucency is Chakundriya. If we wish to know the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the prosmic cause of iron faculties, we have to go and read again in the iron translucency. So why is it called faculty? Why is it called Indriya? Why is it lordship or rulership? When seeing something, without eyesight, we cannot see anything. So when our eyesight is very good, we can see clearly, very quickly. When our eyesight becomes very poor, we cannot see clearly, we cannot see quickly. So our eye translucency also decides the objects. That's why they are called ruler. They are called Indriya. Similarly, Sodindriya, ear faculty. It is also ear translucency. We just give different name of translucency. So you can also understand the same as before in iron translucency. You can also learn the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the prosmic cause of the ear faculty. On hearing, our listener's key or our ear is also very, very important. When we have very good ear, we can listen, we can hear very easily. When our listener's key is not that much good, our ear is not that much good, we cannot hear clearly. This is also the rulership, the lordship, or this is also over the ear consciousness and so forth. That's why they are also called ear faculty. Then again, we have Ghanindriya, nose translucency, is called nose faculty. On smelling, this is also a rulership, also a ruler. Not only that, we also have many other things. Later I have to explain, okay, now we should say very simple things. This also, when we have a very good nose, we can smell easily. If we don't have good nose, we cannot smell easily and clearly. And on the next one is Jivindriya, the tongue faculty. It is also called tongue translucency. I mean, you should keep showing the screen, right? Keep sharing the screen. Okay. Let me 𝐸𝐸 time faculties. This is also time translucency. So the main thing is on tasting is also rulership over all other functioning mentalities and materialities. That's why this is also called faculties. Sometimes when we have good tongue, then we may have good taste. Sometimes we don't have good taste, right? We don't taste very, very well. For example, when we get sick, although the taste is really very good, then we don't feel tasty, right? Because of this, at the time, our time translucency is not really working well. The time translucency also, when tasting, is also a rulership. Then again, 𝐾𝐸, the body faculty. This also we can say body translucency. So when touching something, when feeling, by touching something that we had this at the time, 𝐾𝐸 is the body translucency is the ruler. It also has rulership over all the functioning mentalities and materialities. So these 5 are actually translucent color parts. So eye translucency. Also we have ear translucency, tongue translucency, then the nose translucency, tongue translucency, and body translucency. So these are Pasara Rupa. They are called Indriya. Another one is Indriya, female sex faculty. Actually, we have already mentioned both Purusa Indriya, the male sex faculty. Also, we can also say Bhava Rupa, sex materiality. When we are talking about Rupa materialities, we have already talked about these 2 sex materialities. We also say 2 sex klapas. So it depends on the gender. We may have different faculties, very obvious faculties. They are also working. That's what they also call rulership. Then again, 𝐸𝐸. So we have 7 faculties, right? Chakku, Sota, Ghana, Jinhwa, Kaya. Now, 𝐸𝐸, Purusa Indriya. All these are Rupa. But 𝐸𝐸 can be both mentalities and materialities. So when we talk about mentality, we also have 7 universal. Among the 7 universal, one of the mental factor is 𝐸𝐸, life faculty. So in the same way, when we are going to study in Rupa, we can also know the same things, 𝐸𝐸, life faculty. So these 2 mentalities or materialities, we can say 𝐸𝐸 are also really vital force of mentalities and materialities. It will sustain the lifespan of materialities and mentalities. They are also called 𝐸𝐸. Then the 9th one is 𝐸𝐸. This is purely mentality. So all types of nama, especially here we talk about, right, the consciousness are called 𝐸𝐸. As we have learned in Manayana or Manodhatu, also the same, all the consciousness are called 𝐸𝐸. Because we will explain all other mental factors in the later. So as you have already learned in Dhammapada, you know, when we study the first stanza of Dhammapada, you can also learn Manobopengama, Dhamma, Manosattha, Manomaya. The mind is a foreigner. Mind leads. The mind made. Right? All the phenomena, all the dhammas are led by minds, made by minds, preceded by minds. That's why mind is also The consciousness also can be considered as manindriya of the faculties. So after that, we have to continue the chants. Okay, here we should say sukhindriya. Okay, we have to be careful about feeling. From 10 to 14 are feeling. We have 5 different types of feeling. So whenever we are going to use the sukha vedana, pleasant feeling, it means bodily pleasant feeling. So sometimes happiness or pleasant feeling is very obvious all over the body. That's why actually from time to time I also say we have different leaders in different conditions. Sometimes feeling is a precedent, the predominant. So that's why the controlling faculty also called predominant factor. Anyway, so sukha means pleasant feeling in the body. If we have very fine and pleasant feeling in our body, this is called sukha. This is also called feeling, vedana in Pali. So sukha vedana is called sukhindriya, the body pleasure faculty. Then 11, dukhindriya, the pain faculty. Whenever we talk about dukkha, it's also actually bodily. So I mean, whenever we talk about 5 feeling, sukha is bodily, pleasant feeling. Dukkha is bodily, unpleasant feeling. So we have to understand the 2 different feelings. Of course, suffering is very, very evident, very obvious. When we feel pain, sick, ill, or injured, pain is really, very, very obvious in our body. This is also called indriya. The somanasa indriya, the mental pleasure faculty. So sometimes we have very obvious mental pleasure at the time. We don't feel body pain or anything, right? So anyway, the main thing is whenever we use 5 feeling, samanasa means mental pleasant, domanasa means mental unpleasant or displeasure. So sometimes when we say only 3 types of feeling, at the time, sukha and samanasa become 1. Dukkha and domanasa become 1. So that means sukha and samanasa 2 are named as sukha. Dukkha and domanasa, 2 of them are named as dukkha. After that, we have equanimous feeling. We can also say neutral feeling. Neither pleasant nor unpleasant. This is the feeling. So we may have many different types of upekkha in the process. We have already explained in jhana. So you may remember all the things. Anyway, the main thing is whenever we say 5 feeling, there will be 5 faculties here. So one more thing. We have only 1 mental factors, feeling, but it will be different way of experiences. That is why we have 5 different types of feeling. So anyway, we have to understand 5 feelings are called 5 faculties. We can also briefly understand as feeling faculties. So previous group, the first 5 is material, Jivita is both material and mentality. The first 7 is material, right? Jivita is mentality or materialities, both. After that, manodhatu, mind faculty. This is a totally consciousness. Now here, sukha is also mental factors, tirasika. Now we have to continue 15, satinariya. This one is really very common in Buddha teaching. Everybody remember these 5 because whenever we talk about controlling faculties, we understand these 5. Satinariya, faith faculty. So sometimes faith become very predominant. We may have very strong confidence with our practice. We may have very strong confidence with our experiences. Or we may have very strong confidence with our experiences or our knowledge or any ability. Then in this case, we can say satinariya. As I have explained before, in saddha, the mental factors, we also have to remember one more thing. Sometimes if we have very strong confidence, or maybe we may think, right, we may have very strong decisions, sometimes we may decide wrongly. Because confidence, if it does not associate with wisdom, it can also mislead people. We can misbelieve something. For example, like a non-attainment as attainment. We can believe like this. So sometimes if we have very strong confidence, also not, if we are also unwise, the sattha also can be very similar to mana, pride. We must be careful. I mean, wrong belief can be mana. If we have right belief, I mean, if we associate with wisdom, it can be right belief. Or anyway, the main thing is saddha is also one of the mental factors here. This is also called satinariya. Among the 22 tirasika, right? One of the mental factors. Then 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐸𝐬𝐬, the efforts faculty. You have already known the efforts. We have bodily efforts or mental efforts. We can also translate as the energy, bodily energy or mental energy. This is called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐸𝐬𝐬. But although we say body energy or mental energy, actually it just refer to only one mental factors, tirasika. As you have already known, right effort and wrong efforts. We also have right effort, we also have wrong effort. It can be good and bad, both. So when we have right efforts, it can be wholesome. If we have wrong effort, it can be unwholesome. So anyway, briefly, effort is also one of the mental factors is also the effort faculty. Then 17, satinariya, the mindfulness faculty. As you have already known mindfulness, we have learned many things about mindfulness. When we go and study Mahasatipatthana Sutta, mention mindfulness. When we're going to study enlightenment factor, there's also mindfulness. Sati Sampajanga. Now we are going to talk about indriya also, we have the faculty. The words are like a bala, sati bala, power. Sati is one of the power, spiritual power. So we can find sati in many different places, many different suttas, also many different texts. We have to remember one more thing. Sati is only wholesome. What about metta sati? That means we have wrong perceptions. Metta sati is a wrong perception. We have explained before in mental factors. Anyway, if we say briefly, mindfulness is needed all the time. If we have mindfulness, we can balance everything. Okay, that's why mindfulness, whenever we talk about satinariya, it must be only wholesome. Okay, now, 18, samadhinariya, the concentration faculty. You have already known concentration, many different types of concentration. Asset concentration, absorption concentration. We can also say many other ways, momentary concentration. Then we also have many other approaches like 8 attainments. So whatever interpretations about concentration, right? It must be ekakata, one-pointedness, the mental factor. As we have explained in the 7 universal, we can also have right concentration, we can also have wrong concentration. Samadhi, mixed samadhi, both. Sometimes when our mind can absorb on one thing, only unwholesome, for example, for example, greed. We may have attachment to something. Our mind will just recall that one. Mind will absorb on it. Wrong concentration. When we hate somebody, we remember our enemies. Keep recalling, remembering, mind will absorb on it. Wrong concentration. Similarly, mana, pride. Any kind of defilements, we can recall, we can absorb, we can grasp on it very seriously. So that means when we have only one object all the time, we can say one-pointedness. It can be good and bad. If it's good, we can say samadhi. If it's bad, it can be mixed samadhi. So we have to understand these two different things. Okay, now we have Panyendriya, the wisdom faculty. As we have explained before, Panya and Saddha, we must balance these two. Sometimes when we analyze too much, we may have a lot of doubts about experience or practice or anything. Okay, one more thing here. As we have explained before, in the case of mental factors, right? Vicikiccha, doubt. So we may have a doubt about a day or night, or maybe other minor doubts, right? They are not called vicikiccha. They are not vicikiccha. When we say vicikiccha, it means the doubt about the practice, doubt about free trainings, doubt about Buddha's quality, Dhamma's quality, Sangha's quality, the dependent originations, and all the Dhammas. Then this can be considered as vicikiccha, doubt or skepticism. So that means when we analyze too much, we may have doubts about the practice or experience or anything. So sometimes we have very strong panya, very strong wisdom, very weak saddha. It also can mislead people. Then that kind of people can be very crooked, very wicked. It's very, very risky, very dangerous. So the main thing is we must balance saddha and panya. If we cannot balance, then we may be in the wrong tracks or wrong path. Then viriya and samadhi. If we have very strong efforts, very weak concentrations, then we have a lot of thoughts, a lot of restlessness, very strong restlessness. We cannot overcome it. Sometimes we may have very strong concentration, but very weak efforts. Then our mind becomes blurred, or we may fall asleep, or we may feel drowsy, or we may fall into bhavanga state. So if we can balance these two, it will be getting better. Okay, so these 5 controlling faculties are very common in Buddha's teaching, and you may have already known these 5 controlling faculties because we have explained many times, even in the question and answer, they are these 5 controlling faculties. Okay, these 5 controlling faculties are mental factors. Okay, so if we summarize this page, from Sukha to Panyendriya, altogether 19. So these are mentality. These are also mental factors, Hidasika. So we may have the last group. So the last group are called the supra-mundane indriya. Ananyadanya samidindriya, the faculty. I will know the unknown. This faculty is Sodapati Mega. Unknown, we have never known before. We know this one called Ananya Tanya Samidindriya. Right? This is called Sodapati. This in Sodapati Mega, we have this kind of controlling faculties. This also, right? Mekanyana. Then Anyandriya, 21, right? Anyandriya. The faculty of final knowledge. Right? So that means the faculty of 6 remaining supramentary knowledges. Then also Anyata Vindriya, the faculty of one who has final knowledge, the final knower. The faculty is Anataphala. So we can understand these controlling faculties. Actually, in the order now, I think the editor changed the order. Anyway, so these three are only for noble persons. That's why they are not the object of Vipassana. But previous 19 are the object of Vipassana. So from time to time, you may have read many things about Indriya. Right? Okay, for example, Indriya Pajayo in Patana. So when we talk about Indriya Pajayo, we have 2 different types. The first type is Nama Indriya, mentality Indriya, mentality faculties. We can find in Sajata type, connection condition. Another one is Rupa Indriya. We can find in Indriya Pajayo, right? In this mentality. Anyway, the main thing is, if we read Patana or any other text, whenever we have to explain something about, right, controlling faculties, then we also have to understand all together there are 22 types of controlling faculties. Then we also have to explain something about faculty. Okay, I didn't write down here. Okay, not in the slides. But anyway, we have many other meaning of Indriya. For example, it is discovered by the Lordship, the Lords, that means Lord Buddha. So we have 2 different things here when we talk about Lordship. For example, Karma, also Lords over the living beings. Nobody can be Lord over the Karma. This is also one of the things, right? And among the living beings, the Buddha is the Lord, because he is a lordship over his body and mind. Okay, you may get confused, right? Okay, for example, he has psychic power. He can train his mind very well. That's why he has psychic power, so he can create any kind of shape or any form, any appearance. This is called rulership over the mind. Similarly, body. He may have sickness, but he enter into different types of attainments. He can overcome sickness from his body. Okay, anyway, the main thing is, it is also taught by the Buddha. Discovered by the Buddha. Discovered by the Buddha. That's why this is also called Indriya. So not only that, they are also the mark of karma. You know, they are also the mark of karma. For example, our eyes. Produced by karma. Okay? We have good eyesight, poor eyesight, produced by karma. Not only that, a beautiful eye may be produced by karma. Similarly, ear, nose, tongue, all the translucency are produced by karma. So they are the mark of karma. That's why they are also called Indriya. Not only that, right? They also created or prepared by karma. Karma is a creator in Buddha's teaching. That's why they also call Indriya. As you have already know, we have such materialities. We also have like a translucent faculties. We also have like a light faculties, for example. All the things are karma produce. Then, okay, when we talk about the Buddha, right? Buddha also has taught his disciple to develop controlling faculties. You have already know how to develop controlling faculties, right? For example, saddha, how to have saddha. There are some special conditions, right, for saddha. Similarly, sati, samadhi, panya, everything we have conditions. Buddha also has guided us how to develop, how to cultivate it. That is why this also called the faculty are like seen by the Buddha, taught by the Buddha, cultivated by the Buddha, explained by the Buddha. But the Buddha also taught his disciple to develop these controlling these faculties, especially controlling faculties, right? It doesn't mean we have to develop our eyesight or ears or something like that, right? We have to develop controlling faculties. So, okay, we have to understand all the things as Indriya because they are ruler, or they are rulership over their conditions or other conditions. They are also predominant factor. For example, when seeing something, transcendency become predominant factor. When hearing, transcendency become predominant factor. When smelling, no transcendency become predominant factor. When tasting, transcendency will be predominant factor. When touching, or transcendency will be predominant factor. Similarly, when knowing, mind faculty will be predominant factor. So there are many different types of controlling faculties among the mentalities. So that means, Buddha also said one thing here. One who felt sense of eyes and see can get sense faculties. We have to control sense faculties, right? Also, fully understands the faculties, that means controlling faculties. Faith, efforts, mindfulness, right? Concentration, wisdom. So guidance is those we can understand or we can develop sense faculties for the controlling faculties. Also, we can also make end of suffering by doing this. Okay, if we say another way, there are some controlling faculties. They are the object vipassana. It's in the last three now, right? All other are the object vipassana. They are also called dukkha satya. They are with the causes of every individual controlling faculties. There can be different origination relationship, patana relationship. All these things can be considered as the cause apprehended knowledge, right? That means we have to understand corporate apprehended knowledge. They also can be the part of practice in vipassana. That is why we have to analyze many different ways. Okay, for now, we have to continue the last part of today's talk. The ultimate realities are also classified as Four Noble Truths. As you have already know, Four Noble Truths before, right? This very, very popular teaching. Everybody knows Four Noble Truths. Noble Eightfold Paths. Nijja Dukkha Anatta, maybe. Almost everybody knows these three, all these topics. Okay, now, according to ultimate reality, that means the Four Noble Truths are also one of the classifications. Okay, now here we have one, all 81 mundane consciousnesses. Be careful here, only mundane consciousnesses. Also, 51 mental factors, excepting greed. The greed will be second mental factors, the second noble truths. Also, all 28 materialities are the noble truth of suffering. So we have to understand, we have to recall all the information, right? It will be very long times ago. We have already explained 89 types of mental factors or 221 types of mental factors. Oh, sorry, consciousness, sorry. 89 consciousness or 121 types of consciousnesses. So among the 81 are mental consciousnesses. Then we have 52 mental factors, among them excepting greed. We also have 28 materialities. So all of them are the number two of suffering. 2. The mental factors, among the mental factor, greed is the number 2 of the origin of suffering. This actually, according to Visuddhimagga, according to Bhitama, we analyze like this. Actually, according to Sutta, there are many other analyses about the number 2 of the origin of suffering. For example, dependent origination. This also can be one of the origin of suffering. Okay. Then we have cause and effect relationship here. The first one is the number 2 of suffering. The second one is the origin of suffering. The second one is the cause of the first one. So when we are going to practice Vipassana, we must know these two. These two are the object of Vipassana. So then we have to know all types of mentalities. Okay, one more thing here. If we have never attained jhana, we cannot know jhana mentalities. There's an exception. In our daily life, we have to experience many different things. Then we have to remember all types of mentalities we experience in our daily life. Similarly, we have many different types of materialities in our daily life. Then we also have to know all types as the basics. Then we also have to know the causes of all these namarupas. We call Smulya Satya here, right? The number 2 of the origin of suffering. Then the third one is Nibbana. It's the number 2 of the cessation of suffering. So Nibbana is not the object of Vipassana. We cannot take Nibbana as an object. We cannot contemplate as any Chattokanata. Then 4. We know 8 full paths and the 8 mental factors that associate with supramental path consciousnesses are the number 2 of paths leading to the cessations of suffering. So here we have to understand a little bit clearer. Here we just say the 8 mental factors. I didn't write down 8 mental factors here, because we have already known the no eightfold path. That's why I didn't write down. Okay, I will introduce according to mental factors. For example, right understanding or right view. Samadhi is equal to panya, wisdom. This is one of the mental factors. Another one is Samma Sankappa, right thoughts, is equal to Vitaka, initial application or applying thoughts. Then we have already learned 3 virtues, 3 abstinences. Samavaja, Samakamanda, Samaajiva. These are 3 abstinence mental factors. So we have already explained Samavaja, right speech, Samakamanda, right actions, Samaajiva, right livelihoods. These are also abstaining mental factors, 3 abstaining mental factors. You may remember, if you recall, you may remember at the time I also have already talked about many other types of abstinences, right? For example, conditional abstinences, right? Undertaking abstinences. Also, we also have like the abandoning or eradicate the samudcheda, right? And then we remove the abandoning abstinences. We can also understand like this, right? These are according to the practitioners or personality. We have different types. But for about 3 abstinence, we have samavaja, samakamana, samajiva. Okay, these are called 3 abstinences. Okay, so we already say 5 fetters, right? The first one, right view, panya, right thoughts, vidaka. Out of that, 3 abstinences. Altogether, 5 mental fetters. Then we may have 3 more. Samavayama, samasati, samasamadhi. Samavayama is equal to right efforts, viriya. Then samasati is equal to sati, mindfulness. We have already learned before. Then we have samasamadhi is equal to ekakata, one-pointedness, the mental fetters. That's why there are 8 mental fetters. So these 8 mental fetters can associate with the normal wholesome consciousness. Or they also can be associated, sometimes they also can associate with, right? Wholesome consciousness. Some of them can associate with wholesome consciousnesses, such as viriya and vidaka. They also have, right? Another one is samasamadhi, the right concentration, right? One-pointedness. They can associate with either good or bad. But one more thing here, the Noble Eightfold Path, when it's associated with supramundane consciousness, it can be considered as the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So we may have many different examples, many different simile of these 4 noble truths. For example, the first noble truth is suffering. It's very obvious, right? Very simple, very obvious. So this is like a sickness. The second noble truth, the origin of suffering, is like the cause of sickness. When we have some symptoms, for example, like when we have coughing, right? When we have like because of catching cold or something like that. Anyway, the main thing is the cause of suffering is equal to the cause of sickness. This is simile. The third noble truth is like a recovery from sickness. Then the fourth noble truth is like a remedy, or maybe like prescribed by some medicine prescribed by doctor, physician. So we can say sickness, or the cause of sickness, recovery from sickness, remedy, or we can also say the medicine to be taken to recover from sickness. So there are many other examples in this case, but it will be too long. That's why I will continue another explanations. The next one is about the 4 meanings of noble truth of suffering. So you have already learned many things about noble truths, but this one will be the first, maybe the first experience that you may have to know all these types of instructions. For example, the 4 meanings of the noble truth of suffering. Actually, every single noble truth, there are 4 meanings. So the first one is pilanatta, the meaning of oppression. So what does it mean, oppression? Is it like a kind of torturing? Okay, pilana also we can say like a torturing, something painful in our body. So that means sometimes we have mental pain, bodily pain, all this can be considered as pilanatta, like a torturing. So this is a just conceptual explanation, but for about ultimate reality, later, maybe next time I don't have to talk about ultimate reality again, right? So according to ultimate reality, the arising and perishing, all the namarupas are arising and perishing. I have already explained many times, this body is made of particles. They are arising and perishing very rapidly. Then we can also say the arising and perishing as anicca, impermanence, suffering, right? That's why, because of momentary arising and perishing, this also can be considered cheating. We are cheated by namarupas. We are tortured by namarupas. Okay, another one is Sankatata. The meaning of being forms or conditions. That means Sankata. We mostly, when we say Sankata, mostly I understand like conditions, mostly, because I have a Bali background, right? Okay, that means, for example, according to the causes, we may have different types of arising, right? For example, okay, the object can be one of the conditions. If desirable object, then our mind will react differently. If undesirable objects, our mind will react another way. That is why we could say Sankara mostly I translate as a condition. Here we say being forms. Okay, this is from the Bhikkhujana Modi translation. Anyway, Sankata, that means it depends on the conditions, it will arise differently. That's what we call Sankatata. In the case of Rupa, we have already explained, because of heat and cold, it will change. Thirsty, hungry, it will change. Right? We are hungry, our body will respond. When we feel sashing also, our body will respond. It's a change. Right? It's changeable according to the conditions. That's what we call Sankata. So you may remember one of the name of Nibbana, Asankata, unconditioned. It's unchangeable. Heat and cold cannot change. Thirsty, hungry cannot change. Not only that, the object also cannot change. Because Nibbana is as an object. Right? That's what it's called Asankata. Okay, the third one is Santapanata, the meaning of burning. So actually, there are many other explanations of burning. For example, we have to feel mental pain, sometimes because of bodily pain, sometimes because of defilements, right? Burning. It's like a burning. That's what this is also called. One of the meaning of dukkha satya, the number 2 of suffering. Okay, now and again, viprinamata, the meaning of changing. This one is a very simple meaning, right? So if you have studied Abhidhamma, right? We have mental process. Then we also have mind moments. Because now you are listening, right? Every single voice you have to hear. Then in every single voice, there is a mental process. Mental process. That is why our mind is also always, our consciousness is also always changing. Mentality is also always changing. Bodily, we are getting older and older, very clear, changing, but it's not very obvious in every single moment. But when we can know Namarupas clearly, especially the particles rising and perishing rapidly, we can understand momentary changing. That's what we bring Namata, the meaning of changing. So these are the noble truth of suffering. So these are the meaning of the noble truth of suffering. Okay, now and again, we have to move the next one. The full meaning of the noble truth of the origin of suffering. The first one is Ayuhanata. The meaning of accumulating. Actually, we can also say another way, making efforts, making an effort. So another thing is, for example, like we will recall to remember something, right? This just simple, very simple way of explanation. Just recall. Good experience or bad experience. Then this also can be ayuhanata. This we call mental efforts to remember something, to recall something. This is also called ayuhanata. It gives me the cause of suffering. That is why, when people say, oh, I have to suffer a lot, for example, right? We just say, you have to know suffering. It doesn't mean you have to recall. If you recall, more suffering, right? I think many of meditators who have been to Paotoya may remember sometimes I also talk to meditators when they get angry, right? They say, oh, I have to get angry. I have to have that kind of, I feel shocked or I feel sad, for example. When they say like that, I also remind them, okay, Buddha didn't say, Lobha no sati, dosa no sati. Buddha didn't say like that. These are not the object to recall. We may have Buddha no sati, Dhamma no sati, Sangha no sati, right? These are good things to recall. Well, that's why here, in the case of Samudaya Satya, although we say ayuhanata very simply, right? Only the meaning of accumulating, but not that simple. The hidden meaning is making efforts to recall something, to remember something. That means we may have, we may like or dislike, right? Another one is we call nidhanata, the meaning of the source. Actually, we also like the nidhana also can be like the reason, the origin also can be considered as a nidhana. So one more thing here. Whenever we talk about nidhana, this is also a kind of cause or the source, right? So actually, like it's also like a quality information, we just quality information. You get many sources, quality information. Okay, another one is we call samyogata, the meaning of bondage. So in this case, we can understand, right? Tied up. For example, we have actually the problem is we have good experience. Our mind is always tied up with the object, bad object or good object. Right? That's one we can say the meaning of bondage. Like a fetter, something like a fetter, right? Like it will tied up two persons together. It will join two persons together. Similarly, the good and bad experience or good and bad objects and our mind tied up together. It also can tie up. Huh? That's what we can say like a bondage. Actually, if we have already made the causes, we have to suffer. Tied up already, right? Then the last one is 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata, the meaning of impeding. Actually, 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata also can be considered as an obstacle or obstructions. So what does it mean, 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata? For example, it can prevent us to attain nibbana, not to attain nibbana. This one is called 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata. And not only that, right? When we say 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata, you may have remember in the Samatha chapter, we also have like 10 types of impediment, right? Impediment, like for example, we have residence, it becomes obstacle. For example, we have to, now in rainy season, we have to repair or renovate our rooms, for example. It becomes impediment for meditation. Similarly, this Samudaya Satya is also obstacle to attain. That's what we call 𝐵𝐿𝐵odhata. Actually, this is about noble truths. Noble truth is about vipassana. That's why we just talk about Magaphala. If we have the origin of suffering, it becomes obstacle to attain jhana also. Right? For example, lobha. Many meditators, they practice very diligently, expecting very high quality. Expectation also one of the greeds. Right? It's one of the name of the greeds. We expect too much, too greedy, also very strong efforts, then sure, we cannot improve anymore. It becomes impediment. Okay, briefly, we have 4 meanings of the origin of suffering. Okay, so whenever we have to talk about the origin of suffering, we have to remember these 4. These are the name or the meaning of the noble truth. Okay, we will continue the next one, Nirodha Satya. The 4 meanings of the noble truth of cessation of suffering. They are mentioned, Nisaranata, the meaning of escape. We don't need to explain that one, right? When we attain Nibbana, we escape from suffering. That's why we say the escape, right? We just say the escape. In Bali, Nisaranata. Another one is Vivekata, the meaning of seclusion. You know, sometimes people also say like a sunyata, you know? Sunyata means the emptiness. We can say like Vivekata. Yeah, also Viveka also sometimes similar to sunyata. Anyway, so when we say Viveka, we have to remember path and fruition knowledge is also called Viveka. You may remember Kaya Viveka, Chitta Viveka, Upati Viveka, right? If we live alone, we call bodily solitude. Then we have Chitta Viveka. If we have only one object, like when we are meditating, we have Chitta Viveka. Upati Viveka, that means we have many different types of Upati. For example, Khanda, aggregate is also called Upati. We are free from Khanda. So I already say, Nibbana is free from Khanda. That's what we call Viveka. Upati Viveka. Another one is Kilesupati. Kilesa is also called Upati. So when our mind is free from defilements, at the time we can say Viveka. Upati Viveka. So briefly, when we can attain Nibbana, our mind is free from aggregates, no more aggregates. We just know Nibbana. We don't take aggregate as an object anymore. Not only that, our minds are free from defilements. This is also called Viveka. So that means that's on Vivekata, the meaning of seclusion. Okay? This is also the name of the cessation of suffering. Now, Asankatata. Okay, I already say Asankata before, right? The meaning of being unformed. Here I also add unconditioned. So when we say unformed or unconditioned, then you can also imagine, right? Nibbana is not conditioned by avijja paccaya sankhara. We will not say anything. Nibbana is not caused by avijja. It's not sankhara, right? No vijnana. This means it's free from different origination. Not only that, it's not conditioned by heat and cold. You may know upanisya paccaya, right? It's not conditioned by anything. Anyway, so this one's a little bit clear because we have already explained before in Sankatata, in Dukkha Satya. Okay, now the last one, Amatata, the meaning of deathless. Actually, you have already know what is deathless, right? We don't need to explain that one. So whenever we are going to talk about the noble truth of the cessations of suffering, we have to remember these 4. Okay? So now we have to continue the last group of the noble truths. the four meanings of the noble truth of the paths leading to the cessation of suffering. They are mentioned Niyadatta, right? We call Niyadatta. That means the meaning of outlets. Actually, Niyadatta means the reasons of release from suffering. We can also say like that. Niyadatta means release or free from. But here, it can be the reasons, the cause of releasing or escaping from suffering. That's why we call Niyadatta. After that, Hetutta. Hetutta means the meaning of the cause. As you have already known, this is also the cause of attaining Nibbana. That's what we call Hetutta. Then, okay, we have to explain something about these two, right? For the Niyadatta, actually there are many naturally, but it's very clear to lead people to be free from suffering. Also, similarly, the Noble Four Paths is the cause. The cause of people, the cause for the people to release from suffering. So these two elements, right? Similar, right? Anyway, let me then say, because the Niyadatta is also with just outlets, we can say release. Hetu is the cause, we can say like Niyadatta means release. Hetu means the cause, we can understand briefly like this. Also, okay. Another one is Dasanatta. That means it can make people see the Nibbana. The meaning of seeing, realizing Nibbana. So that means whenever we realize Nibbana, there will be the Four Paths. Actually, in the case of path and fruition knowledge or their association, I have already explained something about the Four Paths, right? Anyway, the main thing is whenever somebody attains Nibbana, for example, Saddapati path knowledge will associate with the Four Paths. Saddapati fruition knowledge will also associate with the Four Paths, the 8 mental factors. That's why we call Dasanatta, seeing Nibbana. Then the last one, Adipateyata. The meaning of predominant. So when we say Adipateyata, right? That means this is like a leader in knowing path and fruition knowledge, the knowing Nibbana. Right? So that's why they are also called the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. Sorry, the path leading to the cessation of suffering. So that means actually the noble truths, the noble four paths are also make people understanding the 5 𝐕𝐬𝐬𝐽𝐸, 12 bases, and their causes. Then that's when they also call, right? Or the Niyadatta, Hetutta, Dasanatta, Adipateyata. For example, I always say we have to know Dukkha Satya and Samudaya Satya, right? So to know Samudaya Satya, then they also can be the cause. Similarly, to know Dukkha and Samudaya Satya, also to see also possible, Dukkha Satya and Samudaya Satya, they are also the paths. They also predominant factor to know Dukkha Satya and Samudaya Satya. So here we have to analyze into we have to classify into 2 different parts. When we are practicing, we also can know 4 noble truths. with inside knowledge. Right? So not okay, we're not saying fully full knowledge, but by reviewing knowledge, we can also see full knowledge. Anyway, in the course apprehending knowledge, we have to know samudaya or vaya dhamma nubasi, the cessations of all the nama rupas in the future. This also can be considered as dasanata, with inside knowledge. So we can also know all the dukkha satya, samudaya satya in inside knowledge. We can also know in of four noble truths in birth and future knowledge, right? Anyway, so these are the meaning of, right, the noble truth of the path leading to the cessations of suffering. So briefly, whenever path and future knowledge arise, then this aware, the noble eightfold pathway arises. And what arises, that's why we have to understand these four meanings in every single conditions. Okay, now we have to move the next steps. This is the characteristics, function, and manifestation. So you have already learned many different things today, right? Today, the noble truth of suffering, that means, okay, here what you say, bandhana, badhana, lakhanam, the characteristics of affliction. So badhana means affliction. Actually, badhana also can be like, as you know, like apara means sickness. It's like sickness. Then sandapana rasan. Sorry, sandapa rasan. Sorry, sandapana rasan, right? Sandapana rasan. Its function is to burn. You can also imagine it's a burning, right? Dukkha is like a burning all over the body. Then poverty, pajupatanam, is manifested as constant occurrence or not being free from cycle reverse. Yeah, when we say poverty, poverty means arising or occurring. It will occur again and again like a cycle. You cannot release from it. This is called poverty. This is called the manifestations of dukkha satya. So it doesn't mention anything about proximate cause. Why doesn't mention proximate cause? Very clear. The proximate cause is samudaya satya. And that's why it doesn't mention. Okay? So now we have to move the next one. The noble truth of the origin of suffering. Bhava lakhanam, it has the characteristics of producing. So that means it will produce aggregates, it will produce bases, elements, faculties. Then again, anupachedakara rasan. Anupachedakara rasan, sorry. Karana rasan. Its function is to prevent interruption. So that means without any interruptions, it will arise, it will cause namarupa arise. But because of the power of the origin of suffering, namarupa arise continuously without any interruptions. Then Palibodha Bhajupatanam, it is manifested as impediment. We have talked about impediment before, right? It will prevent us to attain nibbana. So, in this case, then we may have, it doesn't mention the proximate cause, right? So proximate cause of lobha, you can imagine, right? That means if we have lobha, this is like the sign of object. We like this. That's why we have to suffer. Okay, so another one, the cessation of suffering. The number two of cessation of suffering. Okay, Santi Lakana. It has the characteristic of peace. So Nibbana, you have already know Nibbana is a peacefulness, quietness, seclusion. Actually, Rasam, its function is not to die. You already know deathless. I don't need to explain here anymore, right? Another one is Animita Bhatupatthana is manifested as cycles. Okay, one more thing about cycles. So we have to know what's really called sign. Okay, if we say briefly, there's no sign of Namarupa. Right? We can say no sign of Namarupa. This is called signless. So actually, there will mention many other types of signs. Animita, in Bali we call animita. Animita means no sign of nida to Canada, no sign of Namarupas. Okay. Okay, now the last one. Okay, one more thing about Nibbana, right? Nibbana doesn't have prosmic cause. Because Nibbana is not caused by or not conditioned by anything. That's fine. No prosmic cause of Nibbana. Okay. Then the characteristic function manifestation of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. They mentioned Niyana Lakanam is the characteristic of outlet. They always say outlet, right? Niyana, already mentioned what's Niyana. Niyana also see release from suffering. Okay, so it has the nature of release from suffering, right? Another one, Ilisa Bahana Rasan. Its function is to abandon defilements. So we have already talked about the way four paths. These are wholesome mental factors. That's why whenever we have no way four paths, no unwholesome, no defilement, then what to, Uttana Patupatthana is manifested as emergence. So that means our mind will emerge, or we can say, right? Our mind will release from suffering and the Patupatthana manifestation. Okay, so that means in the case of prosmic causes, for difference, we have 8 different mental factors. That's why different mental factors may have different prosmic causes, right? So that's why I cannot mention here. Okay, today we should stop here. It's too long, right? Next one will be too long. So these are really introduction to the Noble Eightfold Path. We have to elaborate a little bit more. Actually, if we go to the next slides, then you will mention some passage from, okay, I will not explain this one, right? The Four Noble Truths in detail. That's introduction. I will stop here, right? So this part you may have already known because in our daily chant, we have Mahasatipatthana Sutta. It mentioned what is the Noble Truth of suffering. Then here I have already mentioned, birth is dukkha, aging is also dukkha, death is also dukkha, grief, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair are also dukkha. We can find in Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Also, to associate with those persons or things one dislikes is also dukkha. To be separated from those one loves or likes is also dukkha. Then the craving for what one cannot get is also dukkha. In short, the 5 aggregates are also the object, which are the object of clinging, dukkha. So you can find all these things in Mahatripatthana Sutta. Something similar to that we can also find in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. But there are actually many other places we can find, because these sutta are very convenient for you to find in the daily chants. That's why I just introduced only this one, right? Actually, there are many different types of dukkha, or many other things we have to know. That's why I will introduce next week, okay? So today we just talk about Satya, truth. So as a Buddhist, we have to know two different types of truth: ultimate truth and the confessional truth. Today we are talking about ultimate truth. We cannot go away from all this kind of truth. All this truth will be put us in any conditions, any times. Similarly, right? Similarly, as we have given in the simile, sickness, also the cause of sickness, the recovery, and also the remedy or the prescription, right? Or like a treatment. So these are also, even in our daily life, we have to go around all the time. Even conventional truths, okay, but when we give example, it's just conventional truths. This is also our life. So if we can know Four Noble Truths, then if we know ultimate truth, then our visions of life will be different. Not only that, our visions of practice will be different. Our aim, our goal will become clearer. That is why whenever we experience something in our daily life, we can also approach according to these Four Noble Truths. The first Noble Truth is to know. Second Noble Truth is to remove or abandon. The third Noble Truth is to realize or to understand or to experience. The last Noble Truth is to practice. So sometimes we have suffering. Suffering is not for practice. Suffering is to know. But to know it, we must practice. Similarly, Samudaya Satya, to abandon, to give up, we must practice. Similarly, to realize Nibbana or to attain Nibbana, we must practice. So, Noble Eightfold Paths or three trainings are leading us to know, to abandon or to give up, or to experience Nibbana. Okay? So, although we have Four Noble Truths, we have a responsibility. We have four responsibilities. Although we have four responsibilities, we have to do only the last one, practicing Noble Eightfold Paths. If we can practice Noble Eightfold Paths, we can do all the four things at the same time. Okay? It depends on our skill or practice. So may you all be able to practice the three trainings, and may you all be able to realize the final cessation and the suffering.
Yes, Sayadaw, the first question is, today, Sayadaw explained that wrong faith can also be mana. Could Sayadaw explain further with example about this point?
Okay. So in this case, you may have very familiar with the English word self-confidence. Sometimes we have overconfidence, not only self-confidence, overconfidence. We believe our ability too much, then we are proud of it. Okay, I will give one example. A few months ago, I met one of my senior. He's also well educated. He just wants to discuss Dhamma with me. Okay, his education is higher than 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐽, higher than me. Okay, he has got many titles, many degrees. He also had meditation experiences by his own way. He just needs my approval That's why I cannot approve. Then I just say, Bande, this is, you have, last week you have always say, right? The aura of practice, the aura of horizon, something like that. Okay? You may have remember, right? The aura of planes, the aura of practice, the aura of abandonment, the aura of discourse, the aura of teaching, we can say like that, right? We already explained all different types of order. So he believed that he has attained very high insight knowledges. He just said how he experiences. Then I say, Bande, this is the aura of horizon, not the aura of practice. Okay? The aura of horizon, for example, okay, roughly, I will say, when you come to meditation center, the fact 3 days, you may feel pain, a lot of thoughts, drowsy, you may have many difficulties. So around 5 days, you will be getting better. Maybe 1 week to 2 weeks, sure, you can improve many things. You can experience tranquility, rapture, joy, many different things. Then after that, after maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks, you may start seeing the lights. This is the normal. This is the aura of horizon. If you practice normally, it will be the aura of horizon, naturally horizon. Okay? It's not the aura of practice. We have to practice only, right? The way 4 parts. Don't follow all the things. You don't want to listen. That means because of confidence with his practice. Okay? That means sometimes we have overconfidence, it change to mana. It cannot change. Okay? Okay, I've already said many things about mana. We have 2 different types of mana. One type is not accepting the truth. Okay, in Bali we call yatawa mana, ayatawa mana, 2 types of mana, right? Okay, one of the mana is not accepting the truth. Although I'm telling the truth, he is not ready to accept. This is because of mana. Another one is accepting the truth. So, for ordinary people, we can have both types. For noble person, they may have only one type. Although they have mana, they will accept the truth. Right? We can understand like this. So anyway, sometimes although somebody told you the truth, the facts, but you don't accept them because of mana, you may have overconfidence with your practice. Okay, that is why when confidence becomes very extreme, it will change to mana. Very risky. Okay. The next one.
Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐸, 想知道 in order to know whether someone has attained Magga it is very difficult. In reality, those Sotapanna who has attained the Sotapatti Magga, also he may not know he has already attained it. Why is it so? Because the latent defilement is very hard to predict. This is the words quoted from Lady 𝐸𝐸𝐸, the Vipassana Dibani. So his question is, in Visuddhimagga, he said, according to the Patisankha Jnana, and enter into Phala Samabadi. Yeah, and enter into Phala Samabadi, then one can check whether it is true or not about the attainment. Can we understand how to understand this paragraph?
Okay, so one more thing, right? You know, okay, when you are going to study, right? There may many teachers, okay. You know, Sutta, in the case of Sutta, be careful, right? Lady 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is a Lady 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. He's also sure, very qualified teacher. But in this case, it's his own idea. Okay, we have to say one more thing. At the normative, his own idea and also commentary, follow the commentary. Don't follow like that teacher. Okay, so we can say like that. Okay, that means if you have read in the Visuddhimagga, follow Visuddhimagga, don't follow ladies here. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw, Miccha Panya is related to which Jayadasika?
Okay, we cannot see Miccha Panya, right? Right? Miccha Panya. Okay, one more thing. Miccha like a kind of crooked mind, right? Thinking like a mind, you know? Okay. Mostly that kind of because of loba. Okay, sometimes because of loba, that's why we become crooked mind. Okay, come from Maya Satya. That means loba. Okay, this is the one. This is one thing. Okay, sometimes because of the sanya perception, right? Perception. We remember many tricky way. Then we will become very crooked or very wicked. Or sanya also can be one of the meta, what we call meta deity, right? But one more thing, deity wrong view is also called meta deity. Okay, so that's why it depends on the condition. We can have many different types of meta panya or maybe wrong panya, wrong wisdom. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw, in the Grimananda Sutta and Bojjhanga Sutta, these two sutta in terms of treating disease, what are the difference in terms of treating diseases in these two sutta?
Okay. Actually, okay, we will just say like a Buddha's case, right? They have already developed the controlling, enlightenment factors, Bojjhanga. So they can recall their Bojjhanga. Then, okay, one more thing. When your mind become very good, right? For example, your mind project mentality will become good also. Okay, I will say one example. Very clear one is a Venerable Tissa, broke his leg, right? You know, broken his leg, very pain. You can imagine, he hit with a stone, broke his leg. Then he meditated, reviewing his morality. Okay. Actually, we have already studied how to develop Bodhisattva. In the Bodhisattva, it mentioned Bodhanosati, Dhammanosati, okay, including Silanosati, regulation of Sila, morality. He can develop the enlightenment factor of piti, rapture. He can overcome pain. He can continue practicing vipassana. He can change attitude. Okay, so that means if we can balance all the enlightenment factors, we can also ignore all the pain or any suffering in the body. We call embodied vedana, we can better work. That is why they can recover from sickness. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw, according to the light of wisdom or the meditation manual, the Paticca fifth methods, they are Bhavanga Mano Sampasa. And this Bhavanga Mano Sampasa is also the Bhavanga Chalana and Bhavangupacheta. So this is according to the meditation manual statement. So his question is, according to Bhavanga Mano Sampasa, 心之收的文件原来的 according to the Bhavanga Mano Sampasa is actually the Vedanas in the Mano Dwara Vajana Anantara Bachaya. So would they only Bhavangupacheta? Okay, means according to the meditation manual, the Paticcasamuppada fifth method, Bhavanga Mano Sampasa means two things. One is Mano Bhavanga Chalana, the other is Bhavangupacheda. But according to the Anandara Pachaya, Bhavanga Mano Sampasa is the Mano Dwala Vajanas Anandara Pachayas. So in this case, it will be only Bhavangupacheda, not Bhavanga Chalana. So is it true that in different situations, the terms Bhavanga, Mano Sampasa have different meaning?
Okay. So one more thing here, right? When you study in the case of especially like okay, for example, 𝐸𝐸 process, for example, right? And the 𝐸𝐸 process, you can also find all these types of the sampasa, especially as you say now, Bhavanga Mano Sampasa or other sampasa, right? So you have to, sorry. Okay. When we talk about Bhavanga Mano Sampasa, we have two Bhavanga Mano Sampasa. The one is Upanisaya Pachaya, the other is Anandara Pachaya. Two, right? So Bhavanga Chalana, Bhangupacheda. So then Bhavanga Chalana is Upanisaya. Bhangupacheda is Anandara. It can be, that's why it can be both of them. Okay? So, okay, for your information, in every pattern of relationship, if preceding mind moment and succeeding mind moment is Anandara. If there's an interval mind moment, right? For example, there are three, okay, as we say now, Bhavanga Bhangupacheda, Manora Vajana. So Bhangupacheda and Manora Vajana are preceding and succeeding. That's why it's Anandara Pachaya. So Bhavanga Chalana and Manora Vajana, there's a one interval mind moment. There is a Bhangupacheda, right? If there's a one moment interval, it can be Upanisaya. Not only that, many mind moments also can be Upanisaya. Also, many life also can be Upanisaya.
Dear Sayadaw, what is Hina Mana?
Okay. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, Hina Mana means actually, okay, for example, I'm not as smart as you, right? For example, right? I may say, I don't care. Although you are smarter than me, I don't care, for example. That kind of mana, right? So sometimes, although we are inferior, we are lower than somebody, we have mana. We don't want to be humble, right? That means, for example, okay, we have many problems. I'm well educated, right? For example, I don't want to learn from somebody who is lower than me. This is also called I'm a superior mana, right? Sometimes they are inferior, but I'm inferior to somebody. They are better than me, but I don't want to study from him or her. This also can be considered as a hina mana. Okay? So that means it's just like downgrading ourselves. Okay?
Yes. Vanami said so during the meditation, I fall into sleep, Tinamita. And so the reason because of I eat at the wrong time, or because of Salayatana, means 6 bases, eye base, ear base. So what is the reason? Can Sayadaw explain?
Really, there are many reasons of falling asleep, right? Okay. Very easy one, as you say, because of food also possible. This is one reason. If food, but then you're going to overcome. For example, in my case, if I take holic or Milo, I cannot meditate. I will feel drowsy all day. These are my case. Okay? And that's why I avoid all this kind of drink. Okay, this is food. Another one is not balancing concentration and effort. Your concentration become very strong, your effort become very weak. At the time, it can happen. You may fall asleep, or you may feel drowsy, or you may fall into Bhavanga state. Your mind become blur. Some of them can happen. Okay? So there are many other reasons also, right? Because of blood pressure, because of many other things, right? So we cannot know many other causes. Okay, next one.
Yes. Dear 𝐸𝐸, could 𝐸𝐸 please elaborate the accepting of truth, also the mana?
Okay. No, that means, okay, this one is, okay, misunderstand, sure, okay. That means, sometimes although we are proud of our ability, okay, for example, I'm knowledgeable, right? I'm knowledgeable about what I'm teaching, but somebody make corrections. I'm accept his correction. I'm not Tipitaka memorizer, right? I'm not Buddha. I can also make mistakes. So if I make mistake, I might accept the truth. This is called accept. Although I have a mana, I accept the truth. That means, right? So, okay, briefly, we may have mana, but if something true, we still accept. That means we have mana, but not so strong. Flexible mana. Okay. Yeah. Another one.
Yes, what I mean said all. So to able to attend Manga and Phala, so we need to study the pariyatti, and also we have to have the confidence about the practice. Và chắc vào các xuất hiện bây giờ. We have to understand, and we have to believe, we have to have the confidence about the anatta and the arising and passing away of all the conditions. So is that true? The question is not so clear, so I try to translate. Yeah.
Okay. So that means we're learning. Okay, it's clear, right? We have to learn. For practicing, is it correct? No problem. Confidence. When we say shut down, confidence, right? Actually, we have to believe many other things. We have to believe our ability also. We have to believe in teaching. We have to believe in our practice. There are many things to be believed. So if we believe in it, we can practice better, right? So that means, okay, maybe according to your approach, we can say learning also correct, belief also correct. Okay. Next one.
Dear 𝐸𝐸, how to overcome hina mana?
Okay. You know, if we know, okay, one more thing, we have dukkha, for example, right? If we know dukkha, okay, when we study vipassana, we have the 7 ways of nama, they are mentioned. Tana ugadana, mana ugadana, diti ugadana, nikani priya dana. Okay. So, if we have like the perceptions of impermanence, if the perceptions of impermanence, we can overcome mana. Right? So that means we must know everything is changeable. So that if we have mana, we don't change, right? Grasping something, we don't change. So if we know if we have the perceptions of anicca, it's possible, more flexible. There are many ways, right? So we must have somebody to respect. If we don't know how to respect, we have hina mana, right? So that means we must try to respect somebody, something. It will be better, right? Another one. Next question.
Dear 𝐸𝐸, is according to the is regarding to the Bhavanga also. In the Manodwara Vithi, there are 4 courses. It includes Bhavanga. There are 4 courses for the Bhavanga mind in the Manodwara Vithi. It includes Adita Bhavanga, Bhavanga Chalana, and Bhavangupacheta. So this then about the Tata Uttika Manodwara Vithi. There are also Mano Sampasa. And there are also Atida Bhavanga, Bhavanga Jalana, and Bhavangupacheta. So should all these three need to be analyzed by using the 24 Pachaya?
Okay. So in the endowment process, right? We had Dhanubuddha Manoraraviti. So when we talk about Bhavanga Mano Sampasa, it must be, okay, after endowment process, there's a Bhavanga, right? In the Bhavanga also there's a Bhavanga, Jida Bhavanga, Bhavanga Jalana, Bhavangupacheta, or the Manoravachana. So I have already mentioned the first very close one is Bhavangupacheta and Manoravachana. They are Anandara. If there's a Tita Bhavanga or Bhavangupacheta or other Bhavanga, it can be Bandhisya. Okay, you can also understand like that. If we can do all the relationship, is better. Okay. Next one.
Dear Sayadaw, does the Pacceka Buddha have the Patisambhida Jnana? And Pacceka Buddha cannot preach the Dharma. So what is the reasons the Pacceka Buddha arise?
Okay, one more thing, right? Actually, sometimes we also misunderstand the one. It doesn't mean they cannot teach, okay? But they cannot teach as clear as in the Sammasambuddha, okay? They can also guide people, Namarupas, but the way they approach, the way they interpret will be not that strong as in the Sammasambuddha. That is why, okay, don't misunderstand, right? They can teach, but not so strong as seven new Buddha. We can understand like that, okay?
Dear Sayadaw, if someone does not learn Dhatu Kata, Yamaka, and also Pukkala Panyati, would he be able to attain Arahantship?
Okay. So, okay, one more thing here, right? If you just study just for meditation, the important part for meditation, right? It will be okay, no problem. If Dhatu Kata or Pukkala Panyati or Vibhanga or Dhammasamini, Patana, Yamaka, they are very, very wide. Very, very wide. So because for Jivas, right? That's why, although you don't know many things, actually, Patana is the widest. If we already know very wide one, okay, minor one, okay, not really big problem. Okay? Yeah?
Dear Sayadaw, if a patient is a sick person, he abandoned the treatment because the treatment will only prolong his life for a short time, but cannot recover fully. Finally, he will die. So this way of relinquishing or abandoning the treatment, is that considered suicide?
We cannot say suicide, right? This is not killing himself, right? He may have many other ways to sustain, right? For example, like a meditation, doing many other things. Okay, in this case, we cannot say suicide, okay?
Vandami Sayadaw, what type of kusala karma can he obtain more freedom externally? Because in daily life in the world, there are always many types of restrictions restricted by the person who manage him.
The question is,
the question is because in the daily life, there are many things. In the daily life in this world, there are many restrictions,
what kind of kusala?
especially restricted by the person who manage him or the boss, so-called. So what type of kusala can he do so that he can get more freedom externally?
Okay, externally. This is Very, very difficult question, right? Actually, it depends on how we spend how we use our spare time also, right? So, for example, in your spare time, you may read the Dhamma books. You can get more knowledge. You may find more solutions. This is also one of the things. Okay, for your religion, you can do metta to all the people around you, including yourself. Actually, that means you may have a little bit religion minds. Your mind can be free from distracts, right? Depression. It will be easier. Not only that, there can be like Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Upekha is not that easy for beginners. The Karuna, Mudita, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, for example, right? You can do all the things. The main thing is mentally you must have kindness to all living beings, compassion to all living beings, sympathy joined to all living beings. Then you can release from the suffering. There are many other solutions. See, we have already talked about 11 ways of overcoming anger or hatred, right? In the very beginning of Visuddhimagga, especially about metta or something like that, maybe. I think so. In metta meditation, right? We have already mentioned all the things. Okay, you can learn many suttas. You can find more solutions. Okay.
So the question is, I have a question regarding to Sanskrit language. I heard that if a bhikkhu teaches Dhamma using this language, he will commit dukkata. If this is the case, why Dhamma can be transferred to Sri Lanka by Sanskrit?
No, this is a misunderstanding, right? Actually, Dhamma transfer into Sri Lanka in Pali, but they translate into Sanskrit, not by Sanskrit. Right? No, not like this. Actually, you may have known in the second council, the third council is in Pali, right? Whenever Mahinda go to Sri Lanka, he gives Dhamma, he just transfer into Sri Lanka in Pali, not Sanskrit, right? Okay, one more thing. We call Titichana Vijja in Pali. We have already explained before in Visuddhimagga actually. Learning Sanskrit also, Titichana Vijja. That's why it's a dukkata. Okay?
Dear Seattle, if there is a request for organ donations from a patient, so must it get the approval or agreement from the patient? If the patient does not agree, would he have dosa mind arise?
Okay. That means we cannot know their mind, right? I cannot answer this question also. Anyway.
Means organ donations.
The patient is, that means patient agree, then the patient will be anger, right?
Yeah, if the patient does not know or does not get give agreement, would he get angry if the organ is donated?
I see. So that means we're going to read their mind, right? That means patient, before passing away, they offer their organs, right? Some organs, they offer, right?
The question is not so clear. It's just that if organ donation is requested or if it's wanted from a patient, must the patient give agreement?
Agree, right?
If the patient does not agree, then would there be anger?
The donor agree or the patient agree? This is the problem, right?
Yeah. The question is not clear.
Yeah, right, that's one. Okay. If donor agree, okay, nobody donor disagree or get angry, for example. Okay, and then in the case, and then the question I said, if donor disagree, patient may get angry. Maybe that kind of question will be possible, right? Anyway, okay, it depends on the donor side, right? I cannot read the Yama, I cannot say.
Gundami, dear Seattle, about the Kamathana of the Paticca fifth method, it is the discernment of Dukkha Satcha and Samudaya Satcha, discerning their causal relationship. So, is it considered the Satcha Pariyati? means the Satya teaching about the Satya, Arya Satya, as a Samudaya Satya and the Dukkha Satya.
Of course, when we are meditating, we are doing Dukkha and Samudaya Satya, right? Although we are doing 5 Vikaya Manda, this is also Dukkha Satya. We have the sun their cause of this or Samudaya Satya. Sure, we can do Dukkha and Samudaya together. Okay. The next one.
Yes. Balamir said also the question here is how to balance the 4 elements in the body because of some of the Padavi Dhatu is very excessive and also sometimes with the wind elements, so also very excessive in the body. So it it happened for the long time. So how can I balance the 4 elements in the body?
Actually, it's sickness, right? Only the medical doctor can explain the one, right? For our meditation, for example, we have the soft and the gross elements. For example, among the earth elements, we have hardness, roughness, heaviness. These are gross one. Softness, smoothness, lightness are subject one, right? So if we have very gross materiality, very gross elements, not very comfortable, we can do soft one. We can overcome the discomfort in the body. This is the one way. Another one is, for example, heat and cold. If very heaty, we can do cold, right? For example, opposite factors. So it depends on your skill of meditation, you can balance. But if you have sickness, actually, I don't recommend you do 4 elements, right? You have to go and see the doctor. It will be more convenient. Okay, next one.
Next question is, dear Sayadaw, is merit an ultimate reality? If not, how can we share it? Where does it exist?
Okay, now I will give one example. We will lit one candle light, okay? And then with another candle light. Okay, flame in one candle light, go to another candle light. Why? This is a visible example, right? In the case of sharing merit, it doesn't mean our merit go to another person. It depends on their minds. If they can rejoice, they also can gain the merit. Okay, like a little candlelight, 2 candlelights. The flame will go to another candlelight. It doesn't mean, right? 2 candlelights. So the first candlelight disappear, the another candlelight have flame, not like this, right? If we lit candlelight 2 together, 2 of them will be for the flame of fire. Similarly, if we share merit, if they can rejoice, they also can accumulate merit. We can also can increase our merit. In this way, we can understand. So we don't have any storage for merit. Okay, that means it doesn't mean we share properties like this. This is unseen. We can know, we can feel. Okay, one more thing. You may know when we talk about phassa, we consider like a mind contact. When somebody is eating eagerly, then how do you feel? So you're also hungry, somebody is eating eagerly, you know? Your hunger becomes stronger. Why? You just see. Right? That means hunger cannot share. When seeing that, your hunger becomes stronger. Similarly, when seeing other people's happiness, by doing kusala, if you can rejoice it, this means sharing merit. Okay? It doesn't mean I will give my kusala karma to you. Not like this, right? We cannot do like this. We have 2 different parties. Actual doer and another that rejoice, the one who rejoices. Okay? So in this case, there's some misunderstanding. Okay? Next one. The next one.
Vanami said, so if someone who is waiting for his ordination, he want to be a bhikkhu or samanera, for example, and his mind actually very much want to ordain, But during the time he is waiting for his ordination, so which sutta should he listen to, so able to maintain his strong mind of ordination? So you can say or recommend.
Actually, if you are going to ordain, mostly I just recommend to study Vinaya more. If you know many Vinayas, then when you are ordained, you may be ready how to overcome this kind of problem, that kind of problem. You can find many solutions to overcome any difficulty in ordinary life, right? So mostly, instead of learning Sutta, I just recommend you to study Vinaya more. If you already study many Vinayas, okay, you can go and read Suttas. There are many, many suttas. Okay, for example, in Dhammapada, we have Bhikkhu Vagga. It will mention what's the real Bhikkhu. You can study to be real Bhikkhu when after ordination. And similarly, in many Nikaya, they mention Samana Vagga. Right? What's really called Samana? It mentioned very clearly, trying to study all the things. When you become Bhikkhu, you will become stronger in practice. Okay?
Mandami Bande, how to overcome the greed or the lobha towards food?
Okay. This one's very easy, right? You may remember the perceptions of repulsiveness of foods. We have already talked about it in Samatha chapter. For example, when you are looking for the foods, you may see many impure things, unclean ground, something like that, right? There are many explanations, many steps to recall individual foods. Okay, for your understanding, after eating, after go beyond the lip, inside the mouth already, right? It was smeared with the saliva. Although you are the most desirable foods, your favorite foods, after going beyond the lip, right? Touching on the tongue, it smeared with the saliva. If you think about the repulsiveness of the foods, you can overcome attachment to the foods. Okay?
Next question, dear Sayadaw. With regard to the question on sharing others' merits, in this way, can we say that we need not do any merit diligently? We can just share other merits and we can get their merits.
Okay, two different things. Okay, for example, now you are listening my Dhamma talk, okay, for example. It doesn't mean you have got all my knowledge. It depends on your ability, right? Yeah, 1/2 an hour Dhamma talk. I'm sharing knowledge. Knowledge is invisible, we cannot see. I don't know how many percentage of my speech go to your ear. I don't know how many percentage of my speech go to your heart. Similarly, in the case of sharing and doing, two different conditions. One who do merit, who accumulate merit, has two different parts. For example, dana. He also have dana kusala, one thing. He may share merit. This is also sharing merit, another kusala, two kusala. For the rejoicer, he can rejoice other people's merits, only one thing. It's not dana, just rejoicing. Similarly, sila. He may rejoice other people's sila. So the one who observes precepts may have sila barami, sila kusala. Another one is a sharing kusala, two. The one who rejoices can get only one, only rejoicing. Okay? So that means we have to balance everything. Don't be extreme. Okay?
Bhavanga Manodwara. Bhavanga Manodwara is Bhavanga, the but the Chittaja Rupa of the Pavanga mind, also called Hataya Vatu, is it? Is it also called Hataya Vatu?
Actually, we cannot say Haryavatu. We can say mind too. We cannot say Haryavatu, right? Haryavatu is the only part material is called Haryavatu. If we talk about, okay, one more thing, if we say mind too, it can cover all the materiality and the mind too. Okay? Another one?
Dear Sayadaw, regarding the question on Pacceka Buddha also, she doesn't understand. She would like to ask, is Pacceka Buddha a Patisambhida Jnana Arahant? She said that Pacceka Buddha is so powerful, but he still cannot explain the subtle Nama and Rupa Dhamma. But the Kammatthana teacher nowadays, they are Puthujjana, but they can still explain to their disciple or the students the subtle Nama and Rupa Dhamma, and also guide the disciples to attain the Magga Phala.
Actually, you also understand again, right? Okay, I will approach another way to answer this question. For example, the Buddha had 6 different, okay, 6 more knowledges. Okay, for example, we have Asaya-nusaya Jnana, the knowledge of knowing other people's tendency, inclinations, and aptitudes. Okay, that was it. Indriya Prapriyata Jnana. The Buddha also know the maturity of controlling faculties. Okay, so that is why Buddha can teach very clearly according to the people's needs. Okay, now I should talk about my case, right? Actually, I'm also teaching meditation, but I don't know people's temperament, people's tendency, people's inclinations, people's aptitudes. I don't know how strong their controlling faculties. I'm also totally blind about it. That's why I have to just try to text which ones to be suitable for them. Try to text many different ways, right? So in modern society, all the Buddhist meditation teachers are blind. Blind people are leading blind people. Okay? Compared to the Buddha. Compared to Venerable Sariputta. So in the case of Pacceka Buddha, they don't also have like Asaya-nusaya Jnana, Indriya Prapriyata Jnana, or like a Mahakaruna Samapatti, many other knowledge, 6 knowledges, right? They don't have this kind of knowledges. That is why they are teaching not so strong as Savanyu Buddha. Okay, we can understand like this. Etta vata cha ammehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe bhuta numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siriya idhamme nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme punyam asavekaya waham hotu idhamme punyam nibbanasa bhajayo hotu Mama punya bagam savasadanam bhajemi de sabbe me samam punya bagam labandu sadhu sadhu sadhu.